Also. That's right, boys. It's the Darian and Monica show yet again. Nobody, which is actually good because it's very hot and stinky in this room. And if there were three of us, we'd be packed in here like sardines, like we usually are, and that's no good for anybody. But my kids always kiss me goodbye before the show. Bye-bye. Bye. Oh, your parole officer is already on. I'm telling you, he is staged and waiting for you. Thank you for joining us, parole officer Mandoki. Oh, babes. Oh, God. It is like 102 in Nevada right now. Tim's in the house.
Hi, Tim.
What's up, guys? Hey, Tim, how are you, sir? What is the temperature right now in Australia? You know it's winter. It's broaching on winter in Australia right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, how nice is that?
What's the temperature?
Tim, what are you about? Mid-60s, that area? Somewhere in there? It's weird because they have, like, I see Tim's posts on Facebook, and he's, like, gearing up for Halloween, but it's spring.
But he's always in shorts.
That's what I'm saying. You see him and Benny over there, like, with a Christmas tree, and they're both wearing, like, board shorts. Yeah, and they're, like, out on a patio. Hey, Merry Christmas! Flip a barbecue. Fucking assholes. About 15 degrees. Oh, it's Celsius. What's 15 degrees Celsius?
We're Americans. We don't know what that means.
Tim, what is that in freedom units? I don't even know. About 50. It's a nice haircut. Well, thank you very much, Jeff. Are you talking to me or her? Her? Me? Her. Me.
You. Her. Your haircut.
No, you. You have a nice haircut.
It's the same.
I'm going for the silver fox look, Jeff. But thank you very much. I appreciate that. Whichever one of us you're complimenting, we both appreciate it.
Have you seen the silver fox on Instagram?
No.
Oh, I'll have to show you.
Is he a sexy devil?
Oh, yes.
I like that. I like that. I'm going to get some hair tips from that guy.
The silver fox.
59 Fahrenheit. It's 59 Fahrenheit equals 18 degrees Celsius. Thank you for the conversion, Tom. It's like 60 degrees. That's Australian 60 degrees, which means it's humid as shit.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I would still live there.
I would live there. I've been there. Let me tell you something, my friends, chop blockers and padded room inmates. Australian women love Americans, and that is a fact. That is a fact, sir. The silver fox must be missing teeth with the neck tattoo.
Whatever.
Hey, you're exactly right, Tom. Nez is in the house.
Hi, Nez.
What's up, Nez? Nez, have you seen any of these Into the Dark movies on Hulu? It's a partner. I know I've said this before, but it's a partnership between Hulu and Blumhouse, and it's made-for-TV movies. But when you're on Hulu, made-for-TV is like a weird kind of a blurred area because we've seen made-for-TV horror films, and they're usually pretty tame. No nudity, mild. Tame?
Yeah, I don't think this one was for TV.
Dude, there's a full-on dick in this movie. Okay, in this one right here that we're about to talk about, it's called Just Fucking With You. There's a full-on cock, okay? No boobs, no nipples, cock, yes. And a big one. It was a pretty sizable one.
I didn't think that was real.
You don't think that's a real penis? It might have been. I don't know. It's a Polaroid. What we're talking about is we'll get to it, but it's a Polaroid of a dick. But I thought I was watching I'm Just Fucking With You, and I came up with a business idea.
What?
A Fucking With You hotel. Now, we're not going to kill anybody, obviously, but you check into our hotel, and we will fuck with you until you check out. I will send you a dick pic at your hotel room. We're gonna peruse your Facebook profile. We're gonna make some prank calls. I don't know that I'm gonna go as far as Chester did, though. the part where he defaced the motorcycle. That's a bit
Oh
much.
yeah, that you could get killed.
Well,
for
yeah,
that.
obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to try to fight a biker in the parking lot.
No.
No property damage, but maybe like a 3 a.m. prank call would be good, right? We'll fuck with you at the fuck with you hotel.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of a niche market, what kind of business that would bring up.
There's weird people.
There is.
Like
If there was a fuck with you hotel, I would check in. I would go there and stay there. Why not? Get fucked with, you know? I mean, it's nothing sinister. I'm not going to like slap you or anything like that. We'll get a janky ass vending machine, right? You got to rough house the shit out of it to get your white cheddar popcorn.
And we will steal your money.
Where is Buddy? You know, Tim, he said he wasn't feeling well. I don't know, man. Maybe we see Buddy next week. Maybe we don't. I think it could conceivably be the Darian and Monica show for a while, which is fine. You know, I think he's got a lot of things going on in his personal life. No dick pics, bro. Well, Jesse, now I am definitely going to send you a dick pic, sir. It's not going to be my cock. Don't worry about it. Mine is much too average. I'm going to Google image a dick, a nice one, and then I will send you that. Hey, Jean's in the house.
Hi, Jean.
That would be a new haunt. Yeah, I mean, it'd be like a gimmick. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we here in Nevada, we have something called the Clown Motel. I don't know if you're familiar with this. It's in Tonopah, which is a place nobody wants to go to, ever, for no reason. You want to go to Tonopah?
Yeah.
Why?
Like,
have you been there?
Yeah.
You've driven through there to get to Vegas.
I've stayed the night.
You spent the night in Tonopah.
Yeah, remember
Wow.
we stayed the night at the Clown Motel.
Oh, you did too?
Yeah.
It's stupid, right?
Yeah, there's nothing in
It's all in the lobby.
Yeah.
You know, you got all the clowns and shit. It's kind of creepy for 5.5 seconds. And then you get to your room and it's a normal hotel room.
Yeah, I've had breakfast at that casino, the last stop.
Jeff is not looking for bromance. Well, I'm going to send you a dick pic anyway, Jeff. Not mine, mind you, but I will get you going on a bromance. All right, shall we start a podcast here?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I can't wait.
Am I incorrect in assuming
Yes.
so far?
So far. I watched that other one.
Which other one?
What is it called? Polka or Puka? Yes. Yeah. That wasn't any good. Yeah. Yes, that one was definitely a TV movie.
Yeah, it's too tame.
Too tame.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. That's why I don't understand why Stephen King adaptations keep going straight to ABC.
Do we have one more of these to do?
One more what? Yes, we have one more.
Oh, boy, we need to look at the list.
I was thinking The Body.
Yes.
That's not a bad one either.
I watched some of that the other night.
Calm down, Stone Cold. Hey, Scarlett's in the house.
Hi, Scarlett.
Hello, Scarlett. I'm enjoying your extravaganza.
Yes.
Those guys are disgusting. Serial killers, of course, but they take it to a gay level. Which, like, for a Jeffrey Dahmer, I understand, but these two, it's like 70 stinky hot bush.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
These guys.
You're a fan.
I am a fan.
You're a fan of Henry Lee Lucas?
Yes, I am.
Which I don't understand.
I
don't understand that at all.
Well, everybody has their favorite killer.
I'm an H.H. Holmes man myself.
There you go.
He's a gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes he locks people in safes and suffocates them to death.
Yeah, he's
and builds
good kills.
Yes.
See, I never cared for Ted Bundy.
You didn't think he was sexy?
No.
Why not?
No, he was ugly.
Did you see any of his interviews, though?
Yes, he was just
charismatic.
No, I just didn't like him, and he was a pussy.
He would talk you right out of your panties.
No, he wouldn't.
You're not wearing any panties.
No,
joke's on you.
He doesn't have any tattoos. He has all his teeth.
He's not a loser. You need to be a loser if you want to get on this action here. All righty, shot blockers. Cock blockers and pill poppers. Should we get into this goddamn movie, or should we just talk shit all night? I'm fine to talk shit all night. I can do that.
But this movie talks shit too.
It is.
Yeah.
I liked it. This one's actually a pretty good one.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking? This would be a perfect prequel to the Joker. Chester would be a perfect Joker, right?
Oh.
Because he like slides under the door and he's like, oh, I'm just fucking with you. Oh, I'm just having fun here. And then, like at the end of the movie, he's putting on the clown paint.
That would be funny.
Huh?
Oh.
Has anybody out there seen I'm Just Fucking With You?
Yeah.
The Zodiac. Of course we're talking about hot serial killers, Scarlett. I don't think. Hey, all right, hold on. We're going to take a minute here. Now we're on a whole other shit. Let me
Oh
just
no!
get this
What
out of the way.
happened?
Hot serial killers. You got to bet. I'm not going anywhere near Eileen Wuornos, and I think she's the only female serial killer in American history, or at least the only recognized one. So on a same-sex level, H.H. Holmes, right?
Yeah.
Magnificent facial hair.
He was a good-looking guy from his pictures. Yes.
Scarlett says Richard Ramirez all the way. He was a metal guy.
Yeah, I know he was.
But I heard he stank. I heard he was a bit of a stinker. And had a problem with masturbation, Scarlett, as well. Think about that. If the guy you're with would rather diddle himself than fuck you, then come on. And that was before internet porn. Think about that. He'd pull it clean off. These days, he would pull his cock right off of his body. Eileen Wuornos looks like she was plucked from a shower drain.
I have a book.
You're exactly right.
Full of just women killers.
Really?
Yeah. It's quite interesting.
What is Scarlett? What is the qualification for a serial killer? H.H. Holmes was gorgeous. She says. I agree with you.
Yeah, he was, especially when Luke Evans. I got
Evan Peters. We went. Okay. Did you follow that? It was from Luke Evans, who was also a handsome devil, to Luke. I think she said Luke Perry for a minute.
No, I did not.
Wouldn't be the first. And then to Evan Peters.
That's who I was thinking of when he played him in American Horror Story.
Hotel.
Yes.
That wasn't actually H.H. Holmes. It was based on H.H. Holmes. That was a bad motherfucker right there.
Yes, he was.
James Patrick Marsh.
Mm-hmm. Was he like the third or something?
Probably.
Yeah.
Handsome devil, that guy.
Yes.
All right, let's get into this fucking movie, shall we?
Yes.
I'm stalling talking about hot serial killers. If you were to have a long-standing relation, if you could forgive a serial killer in the midst of your relationship, which I know you could, which serial killer would you be willing to turn a blind eye to? John Wayne Gacy.
Oh.
You like short, chubby guys.
You have to be tall.
Good night, Gene. Thank you for stopping by, sir.
Hi, Gene.
So,
I can't even think of one.
At least with Richard Ramirez, you'd have a similar taste in music, right?
Yeah, we would, but no. Maybe if Dahmer didn't wear those big glasses.
Have you seen Israel Keys?
Which one is he?
Scarlett. Israel Keys, hot or not? He's a bit of a turd. He's the guy. He was actually rather ingenious with his kills. He lived in Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
He would fly to one state, rent a car, drive the car to another state, find a completely random person, kill them, and then go back to Alaska.
Wow, very good.
He got away with it for like a decade.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look this guy up.
A bit of a tool bag, though.
But I like to read the stories, see what happened.
Yeah, check him out.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch his police interviews, he has the most annoying laugh ever. I'm doing a terrible impression. Anyway, she would go with Jason Momoa. Well, he's not a serial killer there, parole officer. We're talking about serial killers.
Yeah, real.
But if he played one on TV, that is a scary fucking serial killer. Could you imagine that? Getting abducted by Jason Momoa? You've already imagined that. She snapped one out thinking about Jason Momoa throwing her in the trunk of a car. All right. Jesus Christ. Let's get into a movie here, shall we?
Yeah, quit fucking around.
Yeah, quit fucking around, man. I'm trying. We got business to do here. What are you doing? Trying to talk about do a podcast here. Jesus. Mic's on, yeah. And we are back. That's right, inmates. We're talking about Just Fucking With You. This is part again of the Into the Dark series on Hulu. This one came in at 5.9 stars, which was not as good as Down, but better than Treehouse. You feel that's accurate? Do you feel this was?
No, to me, I like this one better.
This one better than Down?
Yes, Down would be second.
Give me a power ranking of the three that we've seen so far.
Oh, well, this one is 1, Down 2, and Treehouse 3.
I probably agree with that. That's good. Rodney Alcala was kind of cute before I read about him raping people with hammers. I raped somebody with a hammer.
Oh my God!
I did not know about Rodney Alcala.
Know about that guy.
Holy shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's good to know. I mean, he was more into like a sex zombie type of a situation. There was some cannibalism involved. I don't know enough about the serial killers. I'm trying to talk about a horror movie. This one was directed by Daniel Stamm, written by Kent Kabina. Stars Nathan Martinez, Matt Loria. I'm on the wrong page. Scratch everything I just said. This one stars Keir O'Donnell, Hayes MacArthur, and Jessica McNamee. I like this one. This one felt like a Joker origin story to me. So that was kind of cool. I mean, the antagonist of this movie is a real sicko. He's got a sense of humor, and I like that. You know, in a world full of Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees, where you have these killers that are just kind of these husks that follow you around and stab you at an inopportune time, it's good to have somebody that can, crack wise with you for a minute, makes you think that he's your friend before he stabs you in the neck. So that's a fun thing. I like that part of it. Our movie starts with an internet troll. And I think we all have had encounters with these fucking assholes, right?
Oh, yeah.
The internet trolls, some random douche nozzle that just shows up on your timeline talking shit to you for no reason. I've dealt with a few. Have you had any?
Oh, no.
Yours always want to get you over to their apartment. Yes. Yeah, imagine that. Imagine that. I've been known to send a naked picture or two. Never met with any kind of good favor or anything like that. It's fine. That's why I Google image cocks and then I send those ones instead of my own. Makes more sense. And I get a more positive response.
I remember getting one and this dude sent it to me and he was like waiting for a response and he had the nerve to say, well, are you going to say something?
Well,
what do you want me to say, weirdo?
Well, here's my ding dong.
Okay.
Don't act like you're not impressed.
Good for you.
Hey, great. I know what your dick looks like. All right. So we have ourselves an internet troll, and he's on his way to a wedding. So on the way to said wedding, he logs onto Twitter, logs on as a different identity, and then starts posting a bunch of negative shit to the bride's Twitter account and her Instagram account. Actually, pretty funny stuff too. Yeah. I think he called her like a semen receptacle or something like
and
that.
And wasn't it his ex too?
Yes. Well, there's a whole backstory between these two that we'll get into here in a second. The shit talking douche nozzles are not in here, are out in force lately. I would agree, Scarlett. We haven't had to deal with any. I've been looking forward to my first troll, like on the show, like on the padded room and the. Could somebody please troll us? I've been warming up. I got some things locked and loaded. I'd like to try out on you that we could, whatever. Anyway, I'm excited for our first troll. Can we get a troll in here, please? Regardless, he's on his way to this wedding and he's kind of pissed off at the bride and the groom and he doesn't really want to go to the wedding. So he logs on to his alternative account and starts talking shit and posting a bunch of crap to her Twitter feed, and she's like, "Oh, Alicia and Mark's wedding, 17 hours and counting, so happy!" And he's like, "Oh, go fuck your face, you're gonna get AIDS," which I thought was kind of funny. As he's driving, though, he gets a phone call from his sister Rachel. She's like, "Hey, you coming to stay at Mom and Dad's house?" And he's like, "No, I don't really. It's awkward and weird, and we're gonna get more into this as we go. But for the time being, he's like, nah, I'm gonna get a hotel somewhere." So he keeps driving and he comes to this very flamboyant hotel, which is just more or less a roadside, it's not any place I would stay. I'm looking. Yeah, it's like a place that you would, if you were really, really tired and you couldn't drive anymore, you might pull into this place. I would not. I would have online reservations made at a Best Western because I enjoy a continental breakfast. Monica, it's free. You get on there and get some those weird powdered egg situations. It's not bad, and it's free. It's part of the room fare. But he's like, oh, this place looks pretty cool. It's called the Pink Motel and Lounge. Okay. And as the name alludes, the entire place is done in hot pink. You know what immediately came to mind when I saw this place?
Me.
No. Why would you? How?
I always wear hot pink.
Does anybody see a shred of hot pink?
All right, now.
I have never seen you in hot pink.
Oh, I have a purple bra today, but
Zero hot pink.
I wear hot pink bras.
No.
Hot pink.
I don't know about the bras and the tone. I mean, no, I don't know any about it. The crazy bitch, black hoodie, and black baggy jeans. Parole officer, hot pink. I've never seen it. I don't think it exists. I would drive all night. I agree, parole officer.
For that, I'll wear my hot pink sweatshirt.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Okay, you're odd.
Does it say crazy bitch on it?
No, it's just plain.
Okay, well, all right. That'd be something new. Stevie's in the house. What's up, Stevie?
Nice.
Steve, we're talking about I'm Just Fucking With You. It's on Hulu. So he pulls in. It's called the Pink Lounge, Hotel and Lounge. Pulls in. He goes into the hotel side. It's like one big structure. Goes on the hotel side. There's nobody there. He waits for a few minutes. He hears voices coming from the back office. So he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go find these guys." Goes through the back office, comes through a kitchen and out into a diner area where there's two guys kind of hanging around. One of them is sitting at the counter. The other one is in like behind the counter. Yes, I just got her a Fox Hot Pink T-shirt. Stopping for a minute. People are acting stupid at work, so I gotta bail in a minute. Okay, Stevesy. Well, you take care of your business, sir.
Okay, bye-bye.
So he gets out there and he's like, "Oh, hey, I'm just trying to check in here." Now, two character types we're used to seeing here. We have the biker behind the sitting at the bar.
That would be the parole officer sitting.
Of course. How would you describe the guy behind the bar? He had like a Tyler Durden look to him.
I have a friend that looks like him.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Alan, how you doing, buddy?
One half kind of reminded me of Weird Al.
Weird Al Yankovic?
Yeah.
A little bit with the glasses.
Yeah, and the hair kind of.
He has like a very like ironic party kind of a hipster thing going on. He's wearing like skin tight jeans, pants, and he's got like a gotta go surrounded by fucking idiots. Is everybody surrounded by idiots tonight?
Wow, what's going on out there?
Stevesy has a similar situation at his job. Wish you guys the best. Don't get dragged into the idiocy. I picture a bartender from a porno movie, and Chester is what I come up with.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like a 70s porno, not like a modern porno, but that's what he looks like.
See him being the Love Boat bartender.
Isaac?
Not Isaac. The other one that was the helper.
There was always like one of the extras, like hanging around, passing out drinks. The Love Boat. That's a deep dive from Miss Monica. She went back to 1981 on you. The Love Boat. So that's great. He gets back there and he's like, "Hey, just trying to check in. I need a room for the night." And no, with the beard. If he had a beard, perhaps like a full buddy beard going on. So he gets back there. He's like, "Hey, man, I'm just trying to check in." And he's like, yeah, hey, you got some kind of a problem?" And the guy's like, "No." Now, I should mention that the guy checking in, what was his name, Keith? Kyle? I think it was Kyle. Kyle is played by the kid, as you alluded to, the kid from Wedding Crashers. So he's kind of, "Hey, Michelle, how are you?" So he's kind of like a nerdy kind of a guy, and he's kind of squirrely. He's like, no, I don't have a problem. I'm just trying to check in. And here's these two big scary guys, and they're already fucking with him about this. So he's like, yeah, you do. Your zipper's down. XYZ. And then they both bust out laughing. All right. Well, I mean, there's two guys hanging around a bar in the middle of the night at a pretty much abandoned hotel.
Yes.
I can imagine they would be hammered, right? As they might be.
Booze.
Probably free booze. So the guy's like, oh, shit, man, I'm just fucking with you. Here's a beer. And he throws it at him. But, of course, Kyle is like, beer. And it just flies off the counter. And he's like, oh, shit, here's another one. And he hands it to him. So Kyle's like, yeah, great. I'm here for a wedding, and I just want to check in, and I'm really tired. I'm just gonna go to bed. So the bartender, we're gonna get to know him. His name is Chester. He's like, I tell you what, man, $75 cash. I won't charge you any tax. I'll give you a room key right now. And Kyle's like, oh, that's great, yeah. But then the biker guy by the name of Jerry, is like, it's rude to not drink a beer that somebody opened for you. So he grabs the beer and he pounds it, and he's like, oh, I don't normally drink beer. So after that, Jerry gets up and leaves. He's like, I'm calling it a night, fellas. And then Chester and Kyle are left there alone. Kyle's like, okay, well, I'm here for this wedding, and I really hate the bitch that's getting married, and she's a real pain in the ass, but just give me the key and I'll be on my way. And Chester's like, all right, buddy, I tell you what, you give me a credit card and a driver's license and I'll get you squared away. And he's like, I already gave you $75. And he's like, no, you didn't. Yeah, I did. You said 75 and I could check in with no problem. And he's like, I never said that. And this kind of gets tense for a minute. Because there's like a standoff happening where like Chester's like, you didn't give me any fucking money. And Jerry's like, yeah, I did. Oh, empty your pockets and you'll see $75 in there. And Chester turns his pockets out and there's no money in there. And he's like, I'm going to call the cops. And he's like, oh, go ahead and tell them you're a fucking idiot too. So just before Kyle actually breaks out his phone and calls the cops, he's like, Chester's like, you know what? While you're calling the cops, hold your hand out. And he's like, what? And then Chester's like, because I'm going to put a key to a room in there because you already gave me $75. I'm just fucking with you, man. It's kind of funny. Hey, Christine's in the house.
Hi, Christine.
Where are y'all from? We're in Reno, Nevada, Christine, which is, it's Reno. We hold the Guinness Book of World Records for largest trailer park, which we are not presently in, by the way. Sun Valley, which is a stone's throw away from my front door. Regardless, we're talking about I'm Just Fucking With You, which is on Hulu right now. So already we know that Chester is willing to take his little jokes a little too far. Because that got pretty tense for a second there.
Yeah. He started threatening to call the police.
Yeah. Jerry's like, oh, empty your pockets. So Jerry gets his room key. He's like, yeah, that was really funny. He gets his room key. He goes and checks it into his room, and it's, standard fare, sleazy, kind of dirty. First thing Kyle does when he gets there, he breaks out a full-on hotel-made cleaning kit, complete with Windex, rubber gloves, Clorox bleach, and he does like a full-scale sweep of the hotel room. You do that, don't you? You crazy bitch. I knew it. You travel with a hotel cleaning kit. How did I know that was going to come up? Because you're crazy. A week ago, she came in here with goddamn eczema on her hands, okay? Full of warts and cracked skin. It was disgusting. And now she's worried about a hotel room. I think you need more germs in your life, babe. I think that's what's happening. Ugh, yuck.
I've been pulling the bed sheets back to make sure there's no hair in it.
That's what Kyle did with his rubber gloves on. He's like,
You never sleep on top of the comforter.
Dude, I sleep. I could take a nap right now.
Oh.
Well, I mean, this is my house, so of course, but I could go out in the neighbor's yard and go to sleep right. I don't care.
Well, I would much rather sleep in the neighbor's yard.
I don't care.
And I even put my sleeping bag on top of the sheet.
Oh, you're crazy.
And then I sleep inside.
She brings her own sleeping bag. That's what the parole officer just said. Monica does that. Yep. This does not surprise me one bit, parole officer. Hi, Raven. How are you?
Hi,
Raven. So that's disgusting. I mean, it's weird, but he's like spot checking the mirror and like, Hey, Sarah's in the house. Hey, Sarah. Good to see you, babe. Oh, that's fucking ridiculous, man. I mean, if you're that worried about germs, go to like a Best Western or something. I guarantee you it's not nearly as bad as the Pink Hotel and Lounge. I guarantee you that. All right. Anyway, he gets there. Shelly, who's that? Christine's in the house. I use my own sheets too. Christine brings her own sheets.
Exactly.
Who the fuck has time to pack sheets? You're good. Dude, all right, Christine, think about this. If you're in a situation where you got to stay at one of these sleazy dime bag hotels, clearly something has gone wrong in your travel plan. Why are you bringing sheets?
Well, because I don't believe in spending $100 for a hotel. Because
Okay.
I'm only sleeping for 5 hours.
Okay.
So a $30 room is just fine.
And you get to hear somebody get murdered in the next room.
Well, I only paid $30.
Oh, I'm going to write a terrible Yelp review. I listened to a guy get killed over there. You're ridiculous. I have to use the toilet first.
Yes, he does. And I make other people shower.
Oh, jeez, oh, please. Forget about it. It's a cheap motel. This is what you come to expect. If you came here looking for like amenities and stuff, head down to the Best Western. You get a continental breakfast. All right. Anyway, he gets in there. He does his cursory. He calls his sister Rachel, and he's like, "This place is really weird. I think somebody could you just come down here? I don't want to be alone in this place." So Christine's like, "Yeah, I'm sick of staying here with mom and dad, so I will get on the freeway and head your way." Like an hour goes by, he starts calling and texting Christine again. "Oh, where are you?" He turns on the TV and realized there was like a head-on collision on the freeway heading in his direction. So now he's really excited. He's like, "Oh, Christine, was that you? Oh." I just accept that hotel rooms are gross and the filth is part of the charm. That's what I'm talking about, Scarlett. You get what you pay for, right, babe? I mean, if it was that, if you wanted like a quality sleeping experience, go to a Best Western. Get the fuck out of here. All right. Anyway, he's starting to get nervous, so he calls the front desk where Chester is hanging out. He's like, "Have you had any messages for me, or did anybody leave any messages or anything like that? Any phone calls?" And Chester's like, "Yeah, man. I hate to be the one to tell you this, but your sister Rachel called. This is bad, Keith. This is real bad. I don't know how to tell you this. She found a big cock to suck on." Oh, it's terrible. See, this is something we could do at the Fuck With You hotel. People call us and we're like, "Why don't you suck a dick or something?" I thought that was funny. All right, anyway, he gets all worked up and he's like, "Oh, what are you talking about? She's dead or not?" And he's like, "No, man, I'm just fucking with you. Calm down." So he's like, "Oh God, okay," but Christine or Rachel, I mean, is actually not answering any of Keith's texts or answering her phone when he calls or anything like that. So he's starting to get a little nervous, and he's a little nervous about staying in this hotel. So he goes and takes a shower. When he gets out, he tries to come out of the bathroom, and the door is stuck. So he's banging on the door. He hears somebody knocking on the front door of his hotel room. So he's like, "Oh, Rachel, is that you? I'm stuck in the bathroom." Uh, he's like banging on the door, his bathroom door. And then eventually he hears somebody come into his room. So he's like, "Hello? Hello, are you out there? Can you let me in?" And let me out, I mean. And then, of course, we hear Chester. He's like, "Oh, hey, man, shit, I'm sorry. I came over to tell you that the bathroom door is kind of janky on this. You got to jiggle and you got to kind of push up on it a little bit." So Larry, or Keith, I mean, being all of what, 116 pounds, was like throwing his shoulder into the door, bang, 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 and nothing's really happening. And then he's like, "Okay, okay, just back up and try one real good push, and I'm gonna pull from this end. I think we can jar it loose." So Keith does just that. He like takes a step back, and then when he charges at the door, we see that Chester was actually on the other side, just kind of lightly holding it. He releases it. Keith comes through and goes flying and lands right on his face. And which, of course, Chester is there, and he's like, "I got you, you fucker. Oh, I'm just fucking with you." So that's good times. About this time, he's like, Keith gets up and now he's all pissed off. He's like, "Oh, nobody thinks you're funny. All you do is fuck with people." Blah, blah. And then Chester's like, "Oh shit, man. All right, I'm sorry. I just came by to check on you, and I thought I'd make for a good time." So he leaves, and once he leaves, Keith gets on Yelp and he signs on as his pseudonym, which is the Internet Troll, and he leaves a very scathing uh, uh, review for the Pink Lounge, the Pink Hotel and Lounge. He's like, "This place is great. I'm having a great time." "Oh, just kidding. This place sucks dicks, and there's cockroaches in the beds," or something like that. So that really sucks. I mean, granted, there probably are cockroaches in the beds, and he's being fucked with pretty hard by the nighttime clerk. So I could see leaving a negative review, but he was pretty dicky about it. Regardless, he's like, "Oh, I got you now. I left a bad Yelp review." Well, you really showed him there, Keith. Woo!
Yeah, out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. So he starts calling and texting his sister again. "Oh, where are you? This place is getting creepy." Pretty soon, he goes outside and he's starting to get nervous because his sister isn't answering his texts or his phone calls. He goes outside to try to use the vending machine to get a soda and call his sister for the 14th time. Naturally, his coins get stuck in the soda machine, and his soda gets stuck in the. He's not getting his soda, so he's like, "Oh, soda! I'm really thirsty." Here comes Biker Jerry, and he like puts a good roundhouse on the soda machine, and the soda comes out. And Jerry's half in the bag, so he grabs Keith, and he's like, "I got you, you little man. Here's what I'm doing." But in this little, kind of exchange, Keith like touches Keith's biker vest, or not? Keith touches Jerry's biker vest, and this pisses Jerry right off. He's like, "Hey, man, you don't touch another man's vest." And he shows him the back of the vest, and it says "Lone Wolf" on it, or something like that. And he's like, "You know what that means? That means I'm a lone wolf, you motherfucker. You don't touch my vest unless you're ready to fight or fuck." And Keith's like, "Oh, I'm really sorry about that. I don't want to be one of those things." So Jerry leaves him alone. He's like, "Well, if you change your mind about the fucking, I'm in room 7.
I know.
Get ready for an ass pounding."
I was like, what?
Well, that just took a gay turn, didn't it?
Wow.
One of your heads is really? That's cool. That's Kong and Skull. Well, which one? This is a weird old house there, Tim. So things like that happen. And I like to think it's because of my personality, but that's probably not accurate. I don't know. Who cares? So yeah, he's like, "I'm a lone wolf," and then there's like that kind of got gay for a second.
Yes.
Like I think Jerry would have actually had sex with Keith if Keith were up for it.
I was like, a big biker guy. Come on.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time. Have you ever seen the Village People?
Yes, I have.
There you go. Village People have a biker. Not nearly as intimidating as Jerry, mind you, but they still have a biker. Regardless, Keith is now completely freaking out. So he's like, goes back to his room. He's pretty sure that, something weird is going on. So he goes out to his car and he's like pacing back and forth, trying to get a hold of his sister. Eventually Chester comes out and Chester's like, "Hey man, what's going on? I heard there's going kind of a kerfuffle at the vending machine. Like, things are really weird here. I think I'm going to find another place to stay." And in the throes of this conversation, Chester's like, "Well, all right, man, if Rachel comes by, I'll tell her you went somewhere else." Keith gets in his car to leave, and he's like, "Wait a minute. I never told him my sister's name." Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah.
So he gets out, and he's like, "How did you know my sister's name? I never told you that." And Chester's like, "Oh, yeah, you did. You said it a few minutes ago or something." And then now Keith is all fired up. He goes right back to his room and immediately calls the police. He's like, "Ugh, Keith is a shit magnet."
Yes.
To be fair, I am portraying him a lot dorkier than he actually was. I mean, he was a hipster.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, I mean, he had like the button-up shirt and the Coke bottle glasses and all that. He's a bit of a doofus, also.
Definitely.
Do you feel that I'm portraying him accurately?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm a little more nasally than he was, but whatever.
That's how he talked, like Willard.
A little bit, yeah. Just not as stylish of a dresser. Right. Willard was hot, I thought, in a weird ratty rodent kind of a,
the same kind of demeanor.
you know, just a
Kinda
little
wimpy little
weaselly kind of a fuck face.
Mhm.
It makes total sense that he'd be an internet troll, you know?
Yes.
Ooh, you're a semen receptacle. Ooh, you married the woman I was gonna marry. Ooh. All right, anyway. So now he's all fired up. He goes inside and calls the cops, local sheriff. Sheriff comes out and he's like, well, what's going on here? This is where things get weird. Sheriff's walking around. Chester comes out to meet him, and so does Keith. Keith is like, I think he's got my sister somewhere. He knew her name, and I never told him her name. And he's like, all right, have you seen this man's sister? And he's like, you mean Rachel? And he's like, no, I haven't seen her yet. I don't know what he's even talking about. The cop's like, all right, well, I'm gonna take. I don't want to have to deal with this. The cop was kind of an a-hole,
Yeah.
but like he just didn't want to come here, and he would rather be watching TV somewhere, which is fine. I understand that. But he comes out and he's like, as they're having this conversation, the three of them, Rachel actually shows up. And she's like, hey, I'm right here. Here I am. And we find out that Chester actually knew her name because he sent Keith a Facebook friend request, which Keith chose to ignore while he was in his room. So that kind of makes sense. And he kind of took a quick sneak peek at Keith's profile, and that's how he got his sister's name. Because suddenly him and Keith are bros, I guess, sort of.
Yeah, but he could have heard him say the sister's name when he was calling her
could
too.
have.
Yeah.
We're jumping to some conclusions by calling the police, I'd say.
That's what I thought. Why would the police come? Oh, I didn't tell this guy my name, but he knew it. Can you show up?
Got my sister somewhere chopped up. All right, calm the hell down, dude. So that's kind of weird. The cop's like, oh, well, I guess since she's here, I guess we don't have a problem, right? Well, I guess not. So he leaves. Now this part is kind of weird because the cop is there, and okay, Chester turns to talk to Keith, and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm really sorry about fucking with you about your sister." And Keith's like, "It's okay, I guess." And then Chester like hauls off and punches himself in the face, square in the face, like, "Ah, fuck! What'd you hit me for?" And then the officer is like, "Did you just assault that man?" And Keith is like, "No." And he's like, "He just punched me in the goddamn face." And Rachel's there. She's like, "Keith, why did you punch him in the face?" And he's like, "I'm going to take you in." And then, Chester's like, no, officer, it's, I kind of deserve that. I was fucking with him, and everything's okay now. So just don't even worry about it. So that's kind of weird. I mean,
that was.
We kind of went into Tyler Durden land there for a second, which was a little strange. I mean, we already know that Chester's got a screw loose.
Yeah.
But now we know that he may have like a carburetor missing or something.
But we'll know why.
Yeah, we're going to get there in a second. So that's fine. He keeps now as the cop leaves and everything's copacetic for a minute, but as the conversation progresses between Chester, Rachel, and Keith, Chester maintains that Keith punched him in the face. And like every time he makes mention of Keith punching him in the face, he throws Keith like a quick little wink, like, yeah, we didn't really, but yeah, we're just going to keep pretending that you did. Yeah. So that's kind of weird. Keith and Rachel go back to the room, and Chester goes back to his, being the nighttime clerk or whatever it is. Pretty soon there's a knock on the door, and it's Chester, and he's got two Hawaiian-looking drinks, and he's like, I feel terrible about what happened. I shouldn't have fucked with you. These are for you two on the house. I'm gonna leave you now. You guys just hang out. And he starts to leave, and I feel like everything might have been copacetic if they had just closed the door. But Rachel's like, oh, let's have a drink. Let's all have a drink to hash this out. That's a bad idea. That's bad. It's time to close the door and go to bed, kids. Instead, they hang out and they go to the poolside area. You know what that reminded me of?
What?
That Strangers sequel.
Oh, really?
Strangers Pray at Night. Yeah, totally. With all the neon and the pool.
Oh, I'm trying to think of what movie I watched where there was a murder happening at a motel.
Well, the Pray at Night was a trailer park.
Yeah.
But it was like a weird seasonal trailer park where you could rent trailers and stuff. So, excuse me. There's always murders happening at sleazy motels. Anyway, so they're all getting hammered out by the pool, and I don't know what time it is or what time of year it is, but it's got to be pushing like
Like
3
3 o'clock,
in the morning
right?
at least.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. They're all getting hammered. Eventually, Rachel passes out there in the weird lawn furniture area. Um, Keith and Chester continue drinking, and they get fucking shit faced.
Yeah.
And we get a confession from Keith. Turn out, and this is where we get the reveal of our backstory. Keith was actually at one point dating the young lady that is about to get married, and he was on the verge of asking her to marry him, but she broke up with him the day before he had this whole plan in progress. So that really sucks. He's obviously still in love with her. Uh, Facebook trolls her every chance he gets, but it looked like he was trolling a lot of people.
Yeah.
So good for him. I like that. That's fun. So from there, he tells Keith or Chester. He tells Chester, he's like, I wrote her a letter. I wrote her the letter that was going to end all letters, and I was going to deliver it to her. I wrote this the day after she dumped me, and I was going to tell her everything. So he's got the letter in his hand, and he gives it to Chester to read. Chester reads it, and he gets all emotional. Oh man, that's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. It's the most beautiful thing I ever read. He's getting all emotional with it, like, all right, that's weird. Um, so that's kind of fun. And he's like, you know what? It's after they say their vows and they say their I do, so I'm going to go up and I'm going to hand her this letter, and then she's going to fall apart. It's like, yeah, all right. So after that, it's fine. Everything's cool. He's like, you know what? I'm way too drunk. I got to get some sleep. I got to go to this wedding tomorrow. We're going to bed. So he wakes Rachel up, and him and Rachel go to bed, like back at the hotel room. I assume maybe an hour or two went by, and there's a lot of yelling and screaming coming from outside their hotel room. So they crack the window a little bit, and what they see is the crazy gay biker Jerry, uh, like yelling and screaming. Somebody has defaced his motorcycle, and by defaced I mean they drew a big cock on the gas tank, which I kind of got a chuckle out of. That's kind of wacky. Oh, we got a little bit. We'll be fine. We'll make it. Um, so Jerry's out there. He's all pissed off because somebody drew a big cock and balls on his motorcycle. He's like, God damn it! What the fuck is going on? Pretty soon, here comes Chester, and he's like, Hey, it looks like somebody put a little extra crotch in your crotch rocket. They get into a fist fight right there because, of course, Chester was the one that drew the dick on his gas tank. Make a long story short, Chester kills Jerry right there in front of Keith and Rachel. They come out and they're like, "Oh, you should stop!" Oh, stabs him in the ear with a switchblade.
Yeah.
Which is a hell of a feat to do when it comes to big gay bikers. I imagine they're tough customers, right? So that's pretty gnarly. They saw it, and Chester acts like it was an accident. He's like, "Oh, he ain't moving, man. I think he's dead. Oh, what are we gonna do?" They're like, "We have to call the cops." Chester's like, you know what? You're right. We got to do the right thing here. I'll call the cops myself. Can you just go get me some vodka? So they're like, yeah. They go back to the bar and they get behind the bar and find a bottle of vodka. But while they're back there, they have a very intelligent conversation. And Rachel's like, there's no fucking way he's calling the cops. We need to call the cops and get them out here ourselves. So they do the right thing and they make their own phone call to the cops. And they're like, when they get a hold of the dispatcher, she's like, oh, yeah, he already called us. We already got a guy out there on his way. So that's cool. Cops are on the way. They're kind of freaking out, though, because pretty soon here comes Chester into the bar and he's like, hey, what's the holdup? Rachel kind of spazzes out and takes that bottle of vodka and smashes it over his head. Now he's like, he goes unconscious, which, okay, things are starting to get a little wacky here. So they go running out of there while Chester is unconscious. As they're running out, the same cop pulls back up and he's like, hey, what's going on here? There's a murder. He draws his weapon and he's holding his weapon on Keith and Rachel.
But didn't they make the discovery in the bar when they were in there?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, before they left, they found the dead bodies of the two elderly owners inside the bar. Now, we know they're the owners because there's a bunch of pictures of them all over the place in this hotel. And something else we glazed over is that there is a closed circuit security camera hidden in the air vents of each and every room. So periodically, while Keith was making his very trollish Facebook posts, we would get like a found footage shot of him from the air vent making these posts. So the cop comes, he rolls up, he's like, I heard there was a murder. Freeze, everybody put your hands up. At this point, Chester comes out with blood gushing out of his head, and he's like, oh, officer, they hit me in the head with a bottle. And the officer's like, ma'am, did you hit him in the head with a bottle of vodka and knock him out? And she's like, yes, but all right, everybody on the ground right now. And poor Chester's like, I don't, he's like, look, there's a dead body over there. The officer looks, of course, the body of Jerry has been removed. So he's like, there ain't no fucking dead body. I think this was horse shit. Now, mind you, the police officer in question already thinks Keith is a fuckface, which I think we all agree on already at this point. So as like he's getting ready to arrest Keith for assaulting, and Rachel probably for assaulting Chester. While he's like holding him at gunpoint, Chester sneaks up on the cop and puts a zip tie around his neck. This part I thought was particularly funny because he snaps the zip tie on and the officer's like, ah, ah, ah. And then Chester starts following him around going, oh, are you okay? Are you okay? And the officer's like, and Chester just keeps going, are you all right, officer? Officer, are you all right? What can I do? He's like, hey, and then he just collapses. And Chester's like, oh, what am I going to do?
I was just fucking with you.
Oh, that's funny. I thought it was funny. Because, like, he keeps, like, half-ass reaching for the officer, but, like, with alligator arms.
I know.
Oh, what am I going to do? Can I help, officer? Officer, what's going on? Get in
the... No, I don't think so.
Oh, anyway, so now the officer is dead, too, also. So now we have 2 dead bodies. Actually, 4 if you count the owners. So at this point, Chester grabs the officer's taser and tases Keith as he tries to run away. Mind you, Rachel has already been zip tied. So this part is kind of stupid because, you know, Keith is unconscious from being tased. Rachel is trying to drag his like half-conscious body away from Chester. Chester has tased him, thus the prongs are sticking into Keith. So it's kind of like he's walking a dog. Like every time Keith starts to get up, he zaps him again.
Yeah.
Rachel is going, come on, come on, come on. No, come on, come on. Eventually, they get almost to like the cop car, and then he just pulls them both out, and he's like, fuck this. So that's pretty gnarly. From there, he's like, all right, I'm gonna come clean with you guys. Yes, I didn't technically kill the previous owners. They actually, he gives them this long-winded story about how the old man had cameras in all the rooms and he was beating off and selling the videotapes, and that's all well and good. The wife caught him. They got into a huge argument, ended up killing each other. And then he just happened to be there when it happened. So he's like, well, shit, I need money. I'll run this place. So, I mean, it sounds like a decent story. It's obviously horse shit, right?
Is it?
I mean, well, in the scope of the movie and what we learn as we go down the road, we know that, yes, it is, in fact, horse shit. Regardless, he takes them both. He gives, like, Keith, like a fucking, it was an oxygen mask.
Yeah.
Like, Keith tries to run. He tackles him, puts an oxygen mask on him. Where did he get an oxygen mask?
Probably from the old couple.
I'll buy that. Sure. So he puts an oxygen mask on him. Here comes Rachel, who's still zip tied, by the way. He does like a roundhouse on her and throws her on top of Keith and gives her the oxygen mask. So they kind of, go into like a weird psychedelic thing here for a minute. When Keith wakes up, he's tied to a floaty in the pool, and there's like a weird musical interlude where Chester is like dancing around, singing some old 70s funk song. When Keith wakes up, he is fucked up, man. He's like, the whole pool is spinning and he's seeing doubles and triples. And it's like a music video here for a second or two. Eventually, Chester lets him out and he's like, hey, man, I'll hit you with a double dose of ayahuasca. You're going to be flying for a couple of days. And Keith is like, "Where's Rachel? Where's my sister? I don't even know. I don't want to go to a wedding." He's like, "Oh, your sister's fine. She's in one of the rooms sleeping it off. You know what though, man? You got ayahuasca running through your veins. You need to let your truth flow, brother. It's gotta flow through you like a fucking lightning bolt." So he takes Keith back to his hotel room, and he takes Keith's smartphone and goes live on Twitter, tagging all the people that he's trolled all over the for however long he's been trolling. And he makes him basically videotape a confession stating that he is uh, the alter ego and that he's been posting all these horrible comments.
That sucks.
Yeah. Troy's in the house. What's up, Troy?
Hi, Troy.
So that's pretty gnarly. Now the ugly truth is out. You, Keith, are indeed a fuckhead. If we didn't already know. He's like, all right, man, now that you've let it all out, we know that you're actually programming flaw or whatever that fucking cyber personality was. You know, doesn't that feel great? Aren't you alive, brother? And he's like, I just want to see my sister. So he's like, oh, shit, man, your sister's in the bathroom. Go ahead. So he opens up the bathroom. Naturally, his sister is dead. She's like been strangled, I think, or zip tied to a fucking something like that. She's dead, and that's all there is to it. So that sucks. He's like, oh no, my sister is dead.
And it still wasn't morning yet.
No, this is like yeah.
She was pretty like pale already.
Like she'd been dead for a while.
Yeah.
I think this movie took place in Barrow, Alaska. It's a 30-day night, is what it is. Except it's much warmer in this part of Barrow, Alaska, because they have swimming pools and they don't really wear jackets or anything, which is strange. And there's no vampires either. Weird like a subculture of Barrow, Alaska. I don't know. Anyway, so he's like, "Oh, my sister," and then he's like, as he comes out, he's like, "Hey, guess what, brother? I finally set you free." And then he shows him where he posted to the wedding party the confession, as well as a screen grab of the long-winded letter that he wrote. And then he starts reading them the comments from the wedding party. You're such a fucking asshole. What's your fucking problem? Oh, you're this guy. You've been trolling me for years, you cocksucker. All this terrible stuff. So that's pretty good. He's all fired off now. So he's like, just kill me. I don't want to live anymore. He's like, well, all right, man. I'm a serial killer. I guess that's what I'll do. I'll take a little souvenir, and then that's what, you know. Then these two, now mind you, Keith is like high on ayahuasca, or at least he's pretending to be. He's like, you know what? Just take me to the wedding and then kill me on that hill and roll my body down there. That'll be the perfect fuck you for everybody. All right. At this point, you had to know that he was full of shit, right?
Yeah.
That's dumb. Kill me on the top of the mountain and roll me down. Oh, stupid. Anyway, Chester falls for it. He's like, all right, brother, we're going to do it. And part of this ridiculous plan is that they're going to take Rachel's body also and roll them both down the hill into the wedding, which is another level of stupid. Regardless, that's the plan. So they load up Rachel's body in Rachel's car, and they're like, oh, okay, here we go. We're going to start the ways. And they start driving towards the wedding. And, we have to pretend that Keith is still high on ayahuasca. So he's like, I'm going to tell you a joke of my own. Yeah. There's two guys in a car, and they're crazy. And one of them says to the other, hey, what would you be? You would be Rachel's dog. And he's like, yeah, I'd be Rachel's dog. That's pretty funny, man. So he's like, no, you'd be Rachel's dog because she had her car modified and there's no airbag in that seat. And I'm going to drive us into a brick wall. And then he drives presumably into a brick wall, which probably would have killed both of them, really. And then after that, we start rolling ending credits and we start seeing all these wanted posters for Keith, not Chester, which brings up an interesting point that Monica brought to my attention before the show. There is a possibility that Chester never actually existed and that Keith was the one doing all the killing the whole way through.
That's what I feel like.
I don't think he would have killed his sister.
But if you're mental.
Well, yeah, if you don't know the difference.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Has anybody out there seen I'm Just Fucking With You? It's got some funny moments. I think it's more comedy. Yeah, totally. I think it's more comedy. Definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, and then you can tell us what you think really happened.
I'm
Who
gonna
was the
disagree
killer?
with Monica. I think it was actually Chester, and I think he somehow survived and managed to alter the weird Pervo videotape, or just destroy it altogether so that nobody knew he was ever there.
But it was weird because there was no footage of Chester anywhere in those mugshots and stuff.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, but they were calling it the Pink Hotel Massacre. So you have to want, or if Chester did die in the crash, he would be another one of the victims, right?
Maybe,
Because that's what kind of a sicko Keith is.
maybe.
I don't
We
know.
won't know.
Let us know. Check it out. It's on
Yeah.
Hulu right now. It's called I'm Just Fucking With You. It's part of their Into the Dark series. Um, this one had some pretty good gore,
Yeah,
right?
I thought
For
so.
being a
That's
made
why
for
I
TV
liked
movie.
it, this
Yeah.
one.
Biker guy gets stabbed in the ear. I got the zip tie thing, but that wasn't very gory with the
No,
cop.
but
That would be
bad.
terrible because he staggered around for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I
He
thought
just didn't just die already, man.
I thought it was funny because Chester's just following him around, going, "Can I help? How can I help, officer? Officer, what's wrong? Officer, what do I do? Get the fucking thing out of me!" I got a little chuckle out of that.
Cops carry a knife or something?
You would think so.
I mean, wouldn't you like try to cut it off?
I would.
I mean, it's worth a
I mean,
shot.
he had like 7 minutes of staggering around.
Yeah.
Come up with something, man.
Mhm.
You can't just. Whatever you want to do. I don't care.
Okay.
I thought it was funny.
Mhm.
And that's pretty. What did you think of I'm Just Fucking With You?
I liked it. I've already watched this 3 times.
3 times?
3 times.
Alrighty. I will say it had a very stunning aesthetic to it. A lot of hot pinks and like baby blues. Very, it definitely had a look to it.
The only part that really annoyed me was the pool scene with the lights and stuff.
I thought that was the
I-
psychedelic.
Yeah, that part reminded me of what was that other one, Neon Demon?
Yeah, a little bit.
So I was like, "Ugh, get rid of this part."
I can see it. Great show, guys. Thanks, parole officer. Thank you for joining us too,
Yeah,
Jesse.
thank you.
Hostility.
Ooh. So I say check it out. It's definitely you'll get a couple chuckles out of it, if nothing else. I think that was I'm Just Fucking With You from 2019 on Hulu's Into the Dark series. Why don't we take us a little break, mates, and we'll come back with some other stuff. Yeah. We'll hang for another minute or two here on Chop
Okay.
Block. Any questions or comments? Concerns? Who is this SK Pranks individual?
Is that the person that listened to us a while back?
Maybe.
I think so.
SK Pranks.
Mhm.
Identify yourself, sir or ma'am. I like to think it's a lady. Might be a lady. Hot SK Pranks.
Yeah, I think this is the person that wrote
Haven't
us
seen it.
once.
We'll
To watch, Christina. I think.
Oh yeah,
I think it's.
it's a good time.
I'd call it a horror comedy. I think Chester would make an excellent Joker. Right?
Yeah.
Like a starting off kind of a white trash kind of a Joker party guy. I'm just a good time fella, man. I'm just out here trying to have fun.
I feel like I can't really remember though. Did he have on like some Hawaiian looking
At
print
one point,
shirt?
yeah,
Okay.
because remember he put the same shirt on Keith.
Okay.
They had matching shirts when he came out of the pool.
Yeah, that's what I still envision him in, is that shirt.
It's cold out. I don't know where you're at, Christine, but we are in
Oh.
Reno, Nevada. I think we broke 102 today.
Yeah, where are you at?
Yeah, man.
What state?
What state are you in, Christine? Let us know. I bet she's in Australia also.
Really?
Yeah, Tim said it was what, 59 in Australia?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are you Australian, Christina? We need to know. I don't know, man.
He's like, I gotta get off before they ask me.
I know. They're grilling me all of a sudden. Trying to watch the show, they're asking me questions. The hell is this shit?
Oh, you know who we haven't heard from in a while?
Everybody.
Definitely Angel.
Haven't heard from Angel. I did
Yeah.
hear from her on Twitter the other day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she still listens.
Okay.
She just
cool.
doesn't have, she's busy as shit. 42 here right now. 42 degrees. Where are you at, Christina? We need to know.
Yeah, where
It's
is that?
102 right here in Reno, Nevada, or it's a little bit later
Well,
now, so
he
it's probably
says
calm
it's
down.
102, but it's cold for me.
That's like a 73 in Monica terms. He got to 77 today. No, I don't know what that word is. Oh, she's in New York, upstate New York. Upstate New York. Well, that makes sense. Paul, who listens to our show, is in Buffalo, and he's always running in the snow. He's always posting pictures of himself, like wearing a parka on a run. Forget it. Not doing that. No way.
Hey, we're missing James tonight.
Yeah, Jim.
Where are you?
What's your business proposal? All right, guys. Well, I think we'll go ahead and kill this feed then.
Yeah, we
Thank you for joining us.
Fucking around to do.
We do. We got Terradome things to get into. We got a whole couple other segments to do on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't checked out the regular podcast, go to paddedroompodcast.com. We have 300 and this will be 381 episodes that we've done. Different movies from all over the horrorverse. Adirondacks near the Canadian border. She's on the Canadian border.
Wow.
That makes sense.
You are all the way up there.
Watch out for fucking grizzly bears and mooses.
Do they?
Moosing. I don't know. I don't know. Thank you for joining us, Christine.
Yeah.
And I hope it warms up over there. It probably doesn't, though. Is that like your average climate at Adirondacks? Adirondacks? How do you even pronounce that? Terradome, bring it. You betcha, Jesse.
You
Here it
have
comes.
to vote.
Great show, y'all. First time I've seen y'all. Thank you very much, Christina. We'll be here next week.
It's cool to have somebody that far away.
And if you want to hear the regular pod, like I said, you have 380 episodes to go through. If you want to hear our back catalog, paddedroompodcast.com. We also have a whole network of other shows there that don't involve the two of us, which you may enjoy those considerably more, actually, because they don't have us on it.
You got other weirdos on there.
All kinds of nutsacks back there. We're going to go ahead and kill these feeds, though. We got other stuff to do. Thank you for joining us. Join us next week for the body. You want to do the body?
Yeah,
we're going to do the body next week. Be done with this Into the Dark Hulu.
Yes.
We're going to do Pride next month. Chris gave us that list of gay horror movies. We could do that. We'll check that out.
Yeah.
All right. See you next week. Join us for the body. Thank you for joining us, YouTubers. Yeah. Both of you.
Yeah. Peace out, inmates.